Somaliland versus Western Sahara. Who really decides African borders? This week, Donald Trump doubled down on Morocco's claim over Western Sahara, while Washington inches closer to recognizing Somaliland. So who really draws borders in Africa, and who gets to be a country? I'm Jonas Ambiko, and this is Analytica Today. Earlier this week, Donald Trump reaffirmed his support for Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara, reigniting global debates over one of Africa's most enduring territorial disputes. Meanwhile, Washington is warming up to Somaliland, a self-declared state in East Africa that's offering the US a Red Sea military base and access to rare minerals in exchange for recognition. Two African territories, two independence movements, but wildly different global responses. Today, we're asking the real question: who actually decides what makes a country in Africa? And why do some unrecognized states gain ground while others stay frozen in a limbo? Let's start with the basics. Western Sahara is a former Spanish colony, most of which is now controlled by Morocco. But the Polisario Front, backed by Algeria, still claims it as an independent state. For years, the UN has called it a non-self-governing territory, with a referendum on independence promised but never delivered. In 2020, Trump recognized Morocco's claim, breaking with decades of US neutrality. This week, he reaffirmed that position. Now, look east. Somaliland declared independence from Somalia in 1991 after the collapse of Siad Barre's regime. It has its own government, army, currency, election, and it's relatively stable. But like Western Sahara, it remains officially unrecognized. No country, not even the African Union, has granted it formal statehood. Yet now, in 2025, the US is showing interest. Somaliland has offered the Americans a military base on the Red Sea. Rare earth minerals, and strategic access. Quite diplomatic talks are ongoing, and the signs of a potential shift are becoming harder to ignore. Last month, Somaliland's president claimed recognition was on the horizon, following backchannel talks with Trump-era figures and US defense planners. Reports indicates that Somaliland is offering the US base access and mining rights in exchange for recognition. The timing matters. The US is seeking to retain its undisputed superpower status, especially around the Red Sea and the Gulf of Eden. A foothold in Somaliland would serve both economic and military objectives. Recognition then becomes transactional. In contrast, Trump has reaffirmed Morocco's claim over Western Sahara. His support gives Rabat international legitimacy, despite criticisms from the UN and the African Union. Yet, for Somaliland, no such endorsement has come from the AU, even though the region has remained stable for 3 decades. So why the double standard? Part of the answer lies in alliances. Morocco is a close partner to both the US and Europe, particularly on security, migration, and trade. Western Sahara, for many Western capitals, isn't worth the diplomatic fallout. Somalia, on the other hand, is useful, but expendable. It's not about justice or consistency. It's about leverage, timing, and what's on the table. Recognition isn't just about flags and embassies. It's about economic access, international loans, visas, airspaces, trade, and dignity. In Somaliland, young people born after 1991 have never known Somalia as their country, but can't legally travel with a Somaliland passport. They watch their nation build roads, schools, and democratic institutions, but still operate in the shadows of global diplomacy. In Western Sahara, generations have grown up in refugee camps in Algeria, waiting for a referendum that never came. Meanwhile, Morocco is expanding infrastructure, building ports, and striking international deals across the disputed territory. And then there's the rest of Africa, watching as the rules shift based on who you know, what you offer, and who backs you. It's not a moral system, it's a strategic one. So what does it mean to belong, to be recognized as a nation? For many across the continent, it means being at the mercy of the global interests. And while politicians and diplomats argue over lines on maps, ordinary people continue to live in political limbo, without clarity, without rights, without recognition. The question of who draws borders in Africa isn't legal. It's geopolitical. Somaliland and Western Sahara are reminders that sovereignty doesn't always follow justice. It follows power, partnership, and leverage. So what do you think? Are these decisions already being made far from the continent? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more. I'm Jonas Sambiko, and this is Analytica Today.